Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is Monday, and after a early pullback of Tesla, it looks like Tesla is firming up a little bit, which is kind of good. I did make some buys today, and I want to talk to you about those, of course. Without further ado, let's get into the slides. Basically, what's happening is the market is still in a confirmed uptrend, and the stock indexes are kind of making some good progress, but a little bit off. I mean, Nasdaq is down slightly, S&P is kind of treading water, and Dow Jones. But some of our stocks are doing good, so that indeed is a very good thing. The Dow Jones seems to be coming back, which is nice. Sims General Room. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, that's a great question. Thank you very much for that. I didn't put it into the general room. Going live, and there we go. Thanks for indicating that for me. Appreciate it. Um, Sometimes I forget to do that. There's so many steps here that don't always get it all right. So there we go. All right. So now all I have to do is get my cursor back. Come on. Let's see if it'll let me. Come on. There. Okay. So now we're back. Now we're back online, and I think we're cooking with gas here. So the stock index is basically down a little bit, but not very much. Kind of holding its own, which is good. That's kind of a good thing. Here's a stock that I bought today that I think you might be interested in. I don't know if you'll be interested in this one or not. It's called Ultra Clean Holdings, and it's in a very interesting area of the market. And that area of the market that it's in is in the it's called CMP, chemical mechanical planarization. There are other stocks that are in this area. One actually used to be my customer many years ago, a company called KLA. KLA 10 core, now it's just KLA. This is a very interesting company because this is an important process in the manufacture of semiconductors. And of course, we know that semiconductors are literally in everything. This has a double bottom. And today I did buy a full position. It's one of my smaller portfolios, but this is after earnings. Earnings were pretty darn good, up 47%. Sales were up 62%. So this is kind of, any stock that can make any stock where the sales are going up 20% every quarter for about 5 quarters and the profits are going up too. That's definitely a leader. So hopefully that will be the case here. It just seems to be doing well. It's ranked number 1 in the electronic semiconductor equipment group, which is 26 out of 197. So this is one possibly to look at. We're just coming through this resistance at the pivot, and so we'll see. The pivot is about 59 on this one, and we'll see how it shapes up. But it's looking pretty darn good. We'll see what's happening now. I did add to my position in Blink Charging, which I don't know if you're familiar with this one or not, but what this is this is a charging network of EV chargers all over the United States. It's not the biggest in the area, but it just moved very, very nicely. I do believe I was buying this on Friday, and I did add to the position today. Its volume is up tremendously, 696%, which is incredible. And also the price is up $6.86, which is kind of amazing considering essentially it's a $40 stock. So now, will it hold at this level? I don't know if it will. It probably will pull back. It's pretty steep ascent. So I would be a little bit cautious buying at this level. Wait for it to pull back a little bit, and then we might be able to get back in. But it's got a 96 relative strength, which is very strong. That means it's in the top 4% of all stocks out there. So looking pretty darn good in that way. But that's one of the ones I'm buying today. Blink Charging, BLNK. So that's one you kind of want to possibly look at. I think, anyways. I'm tooting my own horn. But here's the small portfolio. I'm still not fully invested. I was selling into some. I did take profits last last week, so I definitely have a little bit of spare juice here. I'm still in Ford, just doing good. Shoe Carnival, which I love. I don't know why Shoe Carnival does well, but it does. Shoe Carnival, Salesforce, of course, I've been in that for a while. AMSL, this is also a semiconductor manufacturing play. I like this one as well. And of course, this is the one this is the one Rambus. This is also a semiconductor stock, and we'll see how it does. It was setting up very nicely. Hopefully, it's getting back to a point where it's it's very, very viable. Just going to want to show you what I'm currently holding. CRM, it's down a little bit today. Good stock, but it's down a little bit. It seems to be hovering about this 309 level. We'll see if it can get any more juice. Robert Half, I've had this one for a long time. I may, if it moves on another run, I may sell the strength. I don't know. Down a little bit on the Qs, of course. This tracks the NASDAQ 100, and because we're down a little bit on the NASDAQ 100, that's the 100 largest stocks in the NASDAQ by market cap. That's down a little bit. That's the QQQ Trust. This is also, by the way, if this is where I store my tax money when so I can grow it and then I'll pay it out of tax. But this is a relatively safe investment as long as the market is moving up. I'm in the Qs. If it moves to a market trend under pressure, sell half, and if it is in a correction, then I will sell all of it, go into cash, and wait for an uptrend. Innovative Industrial Properties, IIPR. This is a marijuana REIT, if there is such a thing, but there is. And what it is they lease space to marijuana growers, and it's kind of a captive market, really. It's up pretty strongly today, 2.31%, $6, and it's a fairly pricey stock, $285.99. Down a little bit in volume, so we'll see what happens. Ford is the gift that keeps on giving, so I really like Ford. It's been up. Tesla is another story. It's kind of been acting up today. It went all the way down and tested basically at 980, and then it kind of bounced back. So hopefully this Elon selling of shares, who knows what's going on, but hopefully it'll strengthen up. My average buy price on Tesla right now, because I did sell and then kind of rejigger everything, is about 1050. So I'm a little bit underwater here. I do have some stops basically at 900, which is very wide. Normally I don't go this wide, and that's because that's where the support is at about 900. Also, Shoe Carnival, this is the one I just think is really great. It's really great stock. Not a very big company, but nice little stock. 42 up $2.48 today on about 6%. So that's pretty amazing considering they're selling shoes. I mean, it's not really very complicated. It's retail selling shoes. They seem to be doing very, very well. AMSL, it's up today, but you see it's a much more expensive stock, obviously. Don't have a lot of this. I really would like more. This is the most valuable tech company based in Europe. So AMSL, it's a Dutch company making semiconductor manufacturing equipment. RBMS, this is Rambus. This is a chip company. I've sold out of AMD and unfortunately NVIDIA. I took profits on those, trying to find kind of a replacement. This is still a really hot area. I'm just searching for something that is buyable in a buy zone, and that's been difficult because it's hard not to buy extended in this area of the market. So, but Rambus, I'm in Rambus right now. TTD, this has also been a tremendous performer, up $5.25, or about 5 cents today. But what's key here is not only is it up a lot, but the volume is up a lot. Unfortunately, TTD is a little bit extended. Of course, this is my star right now. This is Blink charging, and it's up 16% today. Don't know what's going on with it, but I like what's happening. And then Nike, of course, it's down slightly. And then, of course, this is the Ultra Clean Holdings, which is the play in the semiconductor manufacturing. It's up a little bit today, not a lot of volume, kind of a smaller company, so not as well known as some of the other ones. So without further ado, thanks for watching here. By the way, if you want to get on the action trailers, we did send out a really nice we sent out a really nice thing to sing just right before we came on the air, and that is the Ready List. And the Ready List has some very nice stuff on it. It's easy to actually, it's very easy to get on the ready list. If you're looking on TikTok, just go to this address for, oh, it just says DTF. Oh, goodness gracious. I did get, yeah, there it is at the top. So if you want to go directly to the show as it's being broadcast on YouTube, it's bit.ly/DTF422. So that'll get you right to that, right to that, that thing. So without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. Thanks for holding, everybody. And let's take a look. Hey, happy Monday. Can we look at Boeing? Gapped up, yeah, okay. It did, and I hadn't been recommending anything on Boeing. I've been very, very circumspect on Boeing as of late, just because I can't really. It hasn't been. Let's see if I can. All right, let's go over here. I'm having issues with. Oh, come on. It's not going to let me. Oh gosh, why is it? Oh goodness. Okay, so we're back there. Okay, so back here. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get the I'm trying to get a new window here up for hopefully this will work here. Up and see if that's indeed good. All right, open the charts. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking here. So hopefully I'll get right up here. I'm gonna do a lot of these little. I think I'd be better at this one, but I am. Okay, so let's take a look at Boeing. BA, of course, is the symbol for Boeing. So go here to this so we can kind of zoom in a little bit there. There we go. All right. So we did have, it did pull past this reversal line. I'm going to bring that up here. This is the reversal line, and it did pull past it, and it's above the 200-day moving average. The question is it actionable at this level? Well, I'm a little bit concerned about several things here. And I kind of want to put out here. One, it's got a relative strength of 43, so it's not in the top of the market. If you look at it, the Aerospace Defense Group, 136 out of 197. So the question is it even a leader in its own group? And that's the thing we've got to find out. So let's look for 136, which is the which is basically the group, the aerospace group. But I want to look at the leading stocks in this group to see kind of, how it's looking. I mean, how it's looking against its peers, because not only, when you're buying low like this, when you're buying something that is, when you're buying something, well, let's see if I can get, come on, there we go. When you're buying lower like this, I'm going to look at the ranking. Okay, so this is going to be 136 that I want to look at here. Coming down here to 136. There we go, aerospace defense. And this is a pretty big group. So this is taking the entire group as a whole here to see kind of if there's anything we could do. It's got a relative strength of 32. I don't really like that. But let's look at the stocks. Boeing is at the top in terms of cap, but let's look at the top stocks, and it's not. Textron is the one. If you want to be in this group, you want to be in Textron. You don't want to be in Boeing, because this is a much better chart than Boeing. This is currently in a buy zone. So here's what I would say to Boeing. I wouldn't be a buyer of I would not be a buyer of Boeing. I wouldn't be a buyer of Boeing. So in the aerospace area, buy Textron, TXT, instead. Of BA. It's just a better chart, and it's just a better chart. And so that's kind of what that's kind of what you want to do. You want to buy. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Come on, baby. Yeah. So really, what you want to do is instead of buying Boeing, you want to buy TXT. This is a better chart, and it's right at the buy point. The buy point 74.80 if you want to get exposure to this area. I don't really necessarily recommend it all that much because this area is 136 out of 197. So this isn't really where the money in the market is going right now. So I would hold off on Boeing, and if you need to be in that sector, TXT is probably a better one. All right, let's look at. Thanks, Raphael. Let's look at Blink first, and of course, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on this one. This is one. Yeah, I was recommending this one on Friday, so I think hopefully some people got into it. I bought a full position and then I bought a half position this morning. It's pulled back a little bit after hours, but it's still looking very good. Still looking very good. This is after earnings, of course. We probably want to look at the it's probably better to look at the weekly chart here, just because it's easier to figure out what's going on. This is sort of the reversal line here, and basically this is starting to get better as it's come up off of as it's come off the 200-day moving average. Today it really went well. Of course, earnings were yesterday. It still has negative cash flow, which is a little concerning to me. But the sales are up 603%. We still don't have earnings, of course, because we have negative cash flow. But this is a potentially very good acquisition target for other bigger companies. And so as you can see, it's trading at almost its all-time high. Its all-time high for Blink Charting was right up here at about 60. I just started getting back into this to Blink. I had been in it before, of course. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I have been in Blink Charging for a while. I mean, I've been in and out of Blink Charging. Haven't really done a whole lot since in about a year. So I've been out of it for a while, but it looks like it's starting to come in and look very good. So definitely. Now, here's the thing about Blink Charging. If you could possibly buy it at this level, but it is a little bit extended. I'll be honest with you. It's a little bit extended, but it's still buyable, I think. So, I wouldn't buy it too much above this level, but I still think you could possibly get in on Blink based on this chart. Because the reason I'm saying this is because this is the higher high. So we've just moved above that. So I still believe that we can probably acquire it. The relative strength is 97 on this one. Very strong, very strong buying activity going on. So somebody big is acquiring Blink Charging. Let's take a look to see kind of, who and what is so it doesn't have any really the big ones, but I'm going to look at the fund ownership, kind of who's owning this thing. Why is it good, and the whole 9 yards. See, Vanguard is a very good. This is large cap blend. There's Vanguard's in it, Schwab's in it, TIA aircraft, iShare, Russell 2000. There's a lot of pretty good funds in here. A lot of A minus A funds. See these A. This is a very good sign. Now, there's of course some D funds in it as well. These are going to be for the smaller cap stocks, but this is starting to get discovered by some of the big funds. There's a lot of A funds in here. So I do think that that's part of the reason why we're seeing it move the way it is. It's got a decent checklist, not a great checklist, 67%, but I still think it's buyable at this level. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my, that's kind of my take on Blink, is that, BLNK is still viable now. So I don't think it's going to go too much. You don't want to buy it too much more above this.
But right now, Blink is still viable. So based on this chart, I do believe it's still viable into December. And this is going to pull back a little bit. So I'd be careful buying it right now. I let it settle a little bit. Let it pull back a little bit, because it is going to pull back. It is going to pull back because of this chart. It's going to pull back a little bit, probably to about $40. If it pulls back to about 40, then I think you could probably get back into it. Here's the thing. I did buy today. My stop loss on this is set at 37. So my stop loss is right here. As you see, I've been buying. I'm buying it as it came above the 200-day line. That's where I was bought it, and I did make a buy today. I did make a buy today, basically right about here. But I also was in earlier, and this was a carry on. This is a follow-on buy. I bought one full position there, and then today I bought a half position. So I have a lower cost of ownership on this one, but very good stock, and I think that definitely is something that at least for right now, it's looking good. Now let's look at Nvidia, and of course this is when we did this. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that we did a split special on this one, where when it went through the split, it was just showing people how I was trading that split. Not a good time to buy it right now because earnings are in 2 days. You don't want to buy into earnings like this. We want to wait, just like we did with Blink, until after the earnings. And if the earnings are good and it's moving up and it's got a nice pattern, that's a good place to buy it. Right now, though, with Nvidia, it's extended. So the thing about Nvidia is it's more difficult to buy it at this level. So right now, NVDA is extended. Wait for earnings before buying. I definitely think we can buy it, but we just have to be very careful about where we're buying it and how much and how large of a position that we're doing here. You need to wait for earnings. We're pretty far extended. The correct buy point is right here at 230, so we're pretty far above that, as you can see. We're significantly above it. We are extended. We're definitely extended. So what this has to be is this has to pull back. Hopefully, the ideal thing would be to pull back to this 21-day line and bounce at this 21-day line. That would be the ideal place to buy. Right now, you just got a watch list, and because it's not quite set up right. That's the main thing. It's not quite set up right, but it's really good stock, and we want to wait to come through earnings. Low volume. That is true. That is definitely true. UltraClean is a low volume stock. I will, so you don't want to be doing options on something like UltraClean, but this has a very nice pattern that I want to show you. You're absolutely right about it. Normally, when you're doing a stock for options, and of course I didn't do options on this one. You don't want that low of a volume of a stock. Here's how. Let's come take a look and see kind of what the volume is. Well, currently the 50-day volume, the average daily volume, is only 345,500 shares. Typically, we would like to see 1 million shares in here. So you're absolutely right, Brian, about the volume. It's about a third of the normal volume. So this is not a good stock to do options on, but it possibly is a good stock to hold. Why? Because it has a very good chart pattern, and it's in a very good area. If you notice, the electronic semiconductor equipment area, number 25 out of 197. Currently, this is the number one stock in that area. And you notice there's what they call double bottom. A little bit of, it'll come up there. This is a double bottom pattern, very good pattern. There's a 59.17 buy point on this. We're right above that. So not a bad place to buy it. I set the stop loss pretty tight, right below that, basically at the 10-day line. So just a little bit below that. So this has got a 100% checklist, as you'll notice. 100% passes on everything. It also is the industry group of the ranking is 26 out of 197. So it's definitely in the top 10% of the market. That's where I want to be buying. I want to be buying at the top of the market where the money is going. So that's kind of where I want to do that. This today it's up about 0.4%, and year to date it's up 40%. So pretty significant. And let's take a look at the fund ownership. This is always a key because even though it might be a good stock, it might have everything great. We want to kind of see who's buying this thing, because it's not us retail investors that push the value of the stock up. It's really the funds that do it. So let's take a look and kind of see who's buying it. See, Vanguard's in this. These are all A+ funds, you see. Very nice funds. Vanguard's in it. I definitely like seeing that. Vanguard's typically a very good stock picking company. Vanguard Information Technology, that's A+ fund. So we've got a lot of nice A+ funds in here. Now, there's some C and Bs here, but there's a lot of A+ funds. So this is the kind of stocks this is the kind of funds that you want to see it. Now, obviously, this is a smaller stock. It trades fewer shares, and it's really not in the NASDAQ. It's not in the NASDAQ 100. There's no way. It's not in a big enough cap. But it is definitely in a good area, and that's part of the reason I chose it. And not only that, because it also, on the weekly chart, and I do buy on this, it has a very nice setup. It has a double bottom with a double bottom formation with a really nice, it moved right above the buy point. So that's a good place for it. All right, let's take a look at some of the people on. Thank you for coming live on me here. By the way, if you want to see this, the charts and everything that I'm showing on YouTube, very easy to do. Just go to this bit.ly/DTF422, and you'll take it right to the page, so you'll be able to see exactly what I'm showing everybody else. Okay, GFS. How is the stock I purchased 100 of on IPO launch? GFS. Okay, let's look at GFS. I wouldn't always recommend buying IPOs. Why? Because it takes a little bit of time for them to kind of settle. Now, Global Foundries is an interesting one. I do agree with you. This is, I think, the old IBM fab that's in New York. I'm looking to see on the Global Foundries. So I basically had IPO'd there, and I'm not even seeing it. Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of selling going on. I'm trying to see kind of where the chart is. I'm having trouble today again. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on that. There we go. So maybe we can see it a little bit better here on the chart. So I'm gonna pop over here to the chart for General Foundries. For some reason, I'm not seeing. I'm trying to see, how they have done. Okay, includes. Yeah. Okay. So it's basically $59 on this. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So I really can't comment on this all that much. I'm not in it, by the way. So, okay, great. Happy Monday. What's your safest stock that is not an ETF for the next 3 to 6 months? Also, let's look at Tesla. Okay, great question, Jordan. Thank you very, very much. All right. What I'm looking for is leaders. Okay, so I'm looking for long-term leaders. So that's probably where we should be looking in the market. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop over to the list of all of the. Let's see if I can do it. I'm gonna pop over to the list here, and there we go. All right, so let's see if it let me do this. I don't know why it's not. Okay, my lists. Let's see if it'll give me a. I'm trying to give it to give me a scroll bar here. So I'm having issues. There we go. So let's first of all start with the industry groups. this is a really good way to find where the leaders are and where the leaders are going to be in the next few months. So right now, this is, the group, the leading groups in the market right now, and I'm going to try to sort this. So hopefully it's going to let me. There we go. Maybe. Okay. So the number one group is in the market right now is the energy coal group, believe it or not. Now, there's only 6 stocks in that, so it's not a place to look. But the next one on the list, the number 2 group, is the electronic semiconductor fabless. Okay, so that's where we want to look for our winners, because this is going to be this is looking like the strongest group. 6 months ago, this group was rated 182 out of 197, so it was at the bottom of the barrel. 3 months ago, this moved up to 66 out of 197. So it made a tremendous growth in terms of moving up. So the money is flowing to this group right now, and it's the electronic semiconductor fabless. So the question is, where can we find something in this group that is going to be the best stock that we can see? Now, currently, NVIDIA is right there. It's number 1. It's NVIDIA and Broadcom. So here's what I would say. We have a number of opportunities here. One of them, of course, is NVIDIA. The other one's AMD and Lattice. So let's take a look at AMD. This is one of my favorite. I've been trading this one. I don't have it currently. I sold it into strength, but I think there may be another opportunity for AMD. It's looking like it's pulling back to the 10-day line. So we might have another opportunity. We're really a little bit extended. I sold here on the pullback. So let's see. That doesn't really give us the best place, but let's see if we can find something else that's set up well in this group, because this is where we want to take a look for something that's going to be a top stock. So let's look at overview. I'm going to look here and look at AMD. Now, I think Umbrella, this one has done very, very well as well. It's not really in a viable place, unfortunately. It's tough because I want to find a stock in here. I'm going to kind of look through it that's in a viable state. Now, I did buy Rambus, which is in a related group, but it was set. Yeah, they're Rambus. Rambus still may be set up yet. Rambus is basically in a consolidation right below the buy point. And this is the reason I bought this, is because of the chart pattern, not necessarily anything else. This is a relatively inexpensive stock. I do believe the earnings per share were up 600% in this company. This one might be a potential. It's not the leader though, and that's the thing. I always like to buy leaders. So here's what I would say with your question, and this is a tough question because basically, I'm trying to always buy the leaders in the best sectors of the economy. So, and looking out in the future, it's very difficult to figure that. But right now, the electronic semiconductor area has been a very, very good area. So I would say NVIDIA is a potential. Now, the problem with NVIDIA is it's not in a good place to buy it. It's a little bit extended. Also, AMD might fall into that category. The problem that I'm finding with NVIDIA's tremendous stock is that its earnings are in 2 days, and I want to see how it comes through earnings. So I really can't buy this one here. Let's see about TXN. That's Texas Instruments. See if that's in a position. That's a little bit more stable stock. This one's probably a better bet because we're right below the buy point on this one. Here's what I would say with the semiconductor companies and the semiconductor manufacturing companies. This might be one that you might want to take a look at. It's Texas Instruments. It's not in the fabless group, but it's in a related group, and it has a very strong checklist, 78, and it is a leader. It is an absolute leader, and it's been a leader really for 40 years. It's got excellent ownership. As you can see, a lot of people own it. This is one, if you're looking for a if you're looking for stock that will be stable and probably move up, this is at the bottom of a range. It's bouncing off the 200-day moving average, and it's moving higher. So this is one I would kind of look at, would be Texas Instruments. Let's kind of go back to the weekly chart to see if there's any entry point there. Yeah, it's basically what's happened is that the 200-day line, it's on the 200-day line. It looks like it is going to reverse off of that 200-day, hopefully higher. That's kind of what it's looking like to me. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what it's looking like to me. This is a chart that goes way, way back. This goes back almost 20 years. There we go. Yeah, it goes back 20 years. As you can see, this has been a winning stock really since 2008. So this is a long-term leader, and it's a stock in a great area of the market. So that's kind of what I would recommend, believe it or not, would be TXN. It's looking very, very good. Now, I don't own this one currently. I do have some exposure to the semiconductor market through Rambus, but I am looking possibly to buy another one as well. So that is a good question. Let's look at Carnival Cruise. The thing about Carnival Cruise, I don't like this industry because I don't think it's going to be profitable for about 3 years because of the COVID thing and the write-downs. I just don't think you can buy this one. And as you can see, the chart. I mean, if you have a 10-year time horizon, this one might work for you. But I'm a trader. I like to see things that are moving now, and right now this is moving down. So I would not recommend it. Right now for the market, I would not recommend CCL right now. Moving lower. And remember, here's my thing. I always like to buy stocks as they're moving higher, not as they're moving lower. And right now, unfortunately, CCL is moving lower. So I don't really, I don't want to be the one. I don't want to be the pioneer here. It came up to the 200-day line. It bounced down. This is not the kind of, you don't want to see this. You want to see it come and then go through the 200-day line. But what it found resistance there. So right now for Carnival Cruise, probably the ceiling is about 25. Looks like it's going down. Relative strength 44. It's got a fairly good, it's in a fairly good group, this leisure services group, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend Carnival right now. I just don't think it's good. I know that a lot of people in like Reddit, and they may be able to push it higher, but right now, just not a very good stock, at least from what I can see. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. And of course, everybody knows that I'm in Tesla. I did trim my position a little bit. It looks like it's kind of settling at that 1,000 level. Of course, Elon tweeted, and things went crazy. We'll see if it We'll see if it can get support there. Basically at $1,000. I have my stop in basically 100 below that, about 900. My average cost, though, unfortunately, is about 1050 right now on Tesla. So just gotta wait and see. Just gotta wait and see on that. Let's look at MU, and of course that's Micron. And the funny thing about Micron is that Micron really is a chip maker. They make memory chips. It's not but it's lumped in with Western Digital and all the other ones. So, this stock has been a heartbreaker for me. MU. We still could buy it. We're 35 days away from earnings. That's good. We did bounce off the low of the consolidation, which was 65. So we have a nice bounce going on. The question is, can it move above the 200-day line? So here's the thing on MU. I just would not be a buyer below the 200-day line. It's just not worth the risk. So I would not be a buyer below the 200-day moving average. So that's just kind of that's kind of how I do it. I mean, I don't want to be below that 200-day moving average. I just there's too much risk, and there's so much better other opportunities. So with MU, I think you just got to take a, it's not gonna work as well. So I wouldn't be an MU. I would be an MU. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's take a look at Upstart. And Upstart's had some issues. I was looking for a place to get in this. I never was able to do it. It took a dive. Man, sometimes 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 it's not good. We moved down to there, and then we lost our footing. Basically, what happened is, this is an example of why you always want to have a 10% cushion when you come into earnings. This came into earnings, and look at this. This is amazing. You would think that this would have gone up, but it didn't. Sales were up 250%. Profits were up 253%, and it still went down. Isn't that amazing? This is why I am so leery about holding into earnings, because unless I have a 10% margin, I just don't like to round trip it. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. If you don't have a 10% margin, you can't really do anything. Now, we can't really buy here because it does look like we're going to come all the way back down to the 191, potentially the 191 pivot here, the buy point. So right now, all we can do, and this is painful because I like this stock a lot, but I can't buy it because I don't have the right setup. So right now, we can only watch list. Not a place to buy. So we just have to we just can't buy it right now. It's not a place to buy it. The pattern is not right. We're in the downward trend on it. I still like the stock. I'm not saying I don't like the stock. It's got a relative strength of 99, so it's tremendous. But it got a little ahead of itself. That's the thing. Stocks will make their move. So what's got to happen is it's got to come down. It's got to form another base, and then we could possibly buy it. So right now, it's just not viable at this level. We can't really buy. We can't really buy Upstart right now. We just can't buy it. All right, let's take a look on some of the questions from TikTok. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm looking here. PayPal, BA, and DIS are my top 3 holdings. Oh boy. You want to be super careful because these are all not in a good way. Let's look at PayPal. And I just think if you're down more than 7%, you need to saucily sell it and then wait for a better entry point, because we seem to have gotten a little bit of support at 200 here on PayPal, but we're still way below the 200-day moving average. So this is just not a good place to own PayPal. It really isn't. So here's what you got to do. And again, this is just a suggestion. I'm not giving you advice or anything like this, but this is what I would do. If I was down more than 7% on PayPal, sell. And the reason that you do this is because once you're selling, then it's easier to make it back. Because here's the problem. If you don't sell when it's 7% or so down, it's going to take you much more to get back to even. So the best thing to do right now, if you're down more than 7%, is to cut your losses. You can see where I did cut my losses. You see, I was stopped out basically on 719. I haven't really traded since. I was stopped out up here, but this saves so much capital by doing it this way. I was stopped out here. Now, it is starting to make a rally, but just not time yet. We need to see a confirmation. We need to see a reversal. This is the reversal line. It's way up here at 260. So you just, if you're down more than 7% on
PayPal, you need to get out of it. Also, Disney is also. These stocks have all gone down. Let's look at Disney. This is another stock that you don't want to own right now. And again, it's not a criticism. Not a criticism. I'm just. This took me years to learn this. By the way, this took me absolutely years to learn this. But Disney had a gap down. This is another reason you don't want to hold into earnings. The earnings per share were up, but look, it went down. Isn't that interesting? This is why you don't hold into earnings. You wait until you have a 7% cushion. I mean, a 10% cushion. So there's the 7% rule and there's the 10% rule. The 7% rule is if you are down more than 7%, sell immediately. Why? Because if you do this over time, you will protect your capital. If you don't, you won't have as much capital. I guarantee it. Also, if you're not up 10% in a stock going into earnings, sell it and wait for the earnings and then possibly buy it back. You want to protect your profits coming into earnings. So right now, Disney, I would say no. Also, Boeing, it did turn up today. I know that everybody's heard of Boeing, and it did move above the 200-day moving average. I still don't like Boeing. It's in a downward trend. Also, Boeing is in a downward trend. Also, your third stock, I guess, is PayPal, and we talked about PayPal. So if you're down more than 7% on these, please sell them because you will live to trade another day. If you do, if you don't, you could lose a lot of money. Now, I don't think PayPal is going to move down forever. It's probably going to find some support at about 200. Same thing is true with Boeing. But Boeing has a real problem right now, and that is, and this is a fundamental analysis, not a technical analysis. Technical analysis being charts and fundamental being actual what's going on. Boeing is having trouble delivering jets. Why? Because the airlines aren't ordering them because the amount of travel is still down. Many of the airlines are going to be losing money for the next 3 years, folks. So it's going to be a tough time to sell them any planes, unfortunately. Let's look at DKNG. This is a DraftKings. DKNG. And I think DKNG has a deal with the, I don't know, I think it's a deal with the NFL. I'm not sure. But the deal is with DraftKings. This is why you want to do the 7% rule. You notice how it's going up. If you kept moving your stop loss up, and then when it came down and you sold at 7%, you'd be in great shape. Unfortunately, look at this. It's gone down. It's gone below that 200-day line. So do I recommend buying DraftKings? No. This, unfortunately, it probably is going to get stabilized. It probably is going to work. But, there's an old adage, on the old Wall Street adages, don't catch a falling knife. And what that means, everybody, is that a falling knife is it going down here? But it's also this little thing here. You see how the little handle is low? See how it's just falling and falling and falling. Don't want to catch a falling knife. So with DraftKings, I think you got to leave it alone for right now. Wait until it's an upturn because it'll come back, but you don't want to be you just don't want to be in it when it's not going good. What gold stocks would you recommend? Well, good question. Gold's a tough one. I don't particularly like the miners, but I do like this one stock. It's called FNV, Franklin, Nevada. And what Franklin, Nevada is Franklin, Nevada it's not a gold mining company, but what it is that they own rights to they're like the junior partner in a lot of mines that are producing gold. I do like this one if you want a gold play because it is starting to make a reversal. I'm going to draw a reversal line here on it, but basically the reversal line. This would have been the reversal line if you draw. It's just started to turn up, which is very, very good. So I'm going to put a reversal line on it. Now, what does that mean? Well,
Up until now, it was in a downward trend. We don't want to buy anything in a downward trend. We want to buy an upward trend. It just came through earnings. Look at that, up 9%. So if we look at the fundamental analysis, it went up 13% sales. Profits were up 9% because the price of gold's going up. That's why. And this one might be a good bet. Now, here's the problem. In the gold and silver mining business, this is one of the worst performing sectors of the stock market right now, 153 out of 197. But if you want to get into an area that probably is going to do well in the next few months because of the inflation, this might be a place to go because Franklin, Nevada, and what I want to do is I want to look kind of at this area. 153 is the gold miners. So I'm going to go over here to the industry groups again and look for the gold miners, and it's 153. So it's way down here. So hopefully we'll catch up here. 153. Okay, so that's telecom. Let's see if I got that right. So let's see if it's going to show me. Show me. Let me see if it's going to show 153. Okay, so it's group 153. So let's go to group 153. It says telecom services. That should be. Oh, that's last week. Okay, well, that's interesting. It should be the miners. All right, let me just sort this and get the miners up here. But it's the gold miners. Okay, it's medical, mining, gold, silver, and gems. There we go. Okay, so I got it wrong. It was 159. Okay, so this is the whole group in general, and it does look like this is actually good action. It's moving above that 200-day line. So that's kind of the thing you want to do. It's come down, it's found its floor, and it's coming right back up. So it's moving above that 200-day line. Now, is there anything in this area that we can even do things? So let's look at the top stocks here. Well, Nomad Royalty Trust. I don't know what this is. Kirkland. Okay, this is another one. This is not a bad one either. So I showed you FNB, but let's look at Kirkland Lakes. This is an Australian miner, and it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's look at the weekly. So this is another one. If you're interested in a gold play, this might not be a bad one. It's in Canada and Australia. Strong stock. Their profits were down a little bit, but their sales are up, so that's good. Pretty good relative strength. This is probably your best one in the group. So for gold stocks, if you're looking to do gold stocks, which currently I am not, on gold stocks, look at KL, which is Kirkland Lakes Gold, and FNV, which is Franklin, Nevada. So looky. Okay, so those are the two symbols that I think that you want to look at. Those are two of the strongest. Oops, don't get to fall on the knife. Let's see if we can get to the right one now. So if we're looking at if we're looking to gold stocks, these are going to be two of the strongest, KL and FMV. Of these two, if you want to go to the pure play, it's Kirkland Lakes because they're actually a senior miner, whereas Franklin, Nevada, they basically own parts of other companies. So actually for cash flow, Franklin, Nevada is probably more reliable in terms of its cash flow, but it's going to be less, and it's going to be a little bit less volatile. So that one might be one you want to look at. All right, let's look at the next question. We're almost at the end of the hour, unfortunately. Let's look at VICI. Look at VC Properties. Okay, it's okay. So it's gaming, hospitality. Okay. Well, gaming stocks. I think the better stock here is probably MGM. I did have MGM. I did sell it. Let's look at this group. This is. I like the fact that it's a REIT. It's a finance REIT. Let's if you're interested in gaming, let's look at MGM. As of late, now of course this is not the film company. This is MGM Resorts. I think this one is very, yeah, see, it says I bought a full position there. Okay, this is on the weekly chart. This is one I think is reversing very, very nicely. I took profits there. I'm probably going to be a buyer. I'm probably going to be a buyer of MGM probably tomorrow. And why? Well, because MGM kind of follows this pattern. It comes back and it comes back down to the 40-day line, and then it moves up, and then it pulls back, and it tests the 40-day line again. So it did get a reversal today, looks like. Let's look at the 15-minute chart to see if it did. Yeah, right at the day it did sell, but it's starting to get a little bit of reversal there. So this is one, if you're like this gaming area, and this is not bad, this is leisure gaming and equipment. This area could be the first of the reopening trade to do the best. Probably will be this area. So I like MGM here as opposed to VICI. I think this is probably a better bet. So MGM, that's what I would recommend. That's what I would recommend. Well, I've almost come completely to the end of the hour. So what I'd like to talk to you about, of course, is the Action Trade Alerts. We do have a free service. It's available at www.Dallas Trading Floor, and that is our that is our. I'll just kind of give you a look, see kind of what is on tap. Let me show you what's on tap here. Let's see if it's going to let me. Okay, it is going to let me. Okay, good. So, oops. Why are we not showing it? Come on, baby. Did I do something wrong? No, I didn't do something wrong. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Just want to kind of give you an idea, a look-see at Dallas Trading Floor. I just want to kind of point you in the direction of kind of what's available right now. And oops. So if you go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, it's going to kind of look like this. Not really very exciting. But this is our action trailer. So just first and last name, SMS, email, you get right on the list. We did put out something today that's kind of neat that I think everybody might be interested in. It's the Ready List. And that's available by clicking on this button here, the top button. Also, if you want to see the show, it's right here. You can see the recap after the end of the show. And of course, we have our special Discord service. Now, the great thing about this is a paid service. The special Discord service is a paid service, but we have a lot of very successful traders that are here. It's $30 a month, but well worth it. And we basically concentrate on the first 2 hours of trade every day. And I'm in it every day. And we also have some other very, very good people in it. And we can help you with your trades and possibly getting into the right things at the right time. So this is really a powerful way to make money. Also, there is, and everybody likes this one, there is the official Dallas Trading Floor mug, and that's also available too. So I just thought I would show you that that with everything there. So until tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, and I'm sure everyone does mention this. I need everybody to like. Please, please, please like this. The advantage of liking this show is that it gets out to a lot of people that wouldn't see it normally, that may be having trouble with their trading, and I hopefully can possibly shed some light and hopefully make some money for people, help them with a little bit of things that I've learned over quite a few years. So I will be back tomorrow at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Happy Monday to everybody, and I hope that everyone is safe and sound and getting ready for Thanksgiving. And I will see you tomorrow. Happy trading.